everybody, this is Melissa from Scott Township Public Library. I hope you're well. January is National Soup Month, so since we are still meeting virtually for Cooking Club, I thought this would be a great time to introduce you to my very own very simple recipe for creamy green bean soup. It goes by many names depending on which vegetable you need to use up, and that's how the recipe came to be. There were too many green beans from the garden, and my husband and I got creative and made this creamy green bean soup. So ingredients are very simple and very interchangeable. You know, those are my favorite types of recipes. There of course are some green beans. They could be fresh, they could be frozen, whatever. So what I'll do is snap these up into nice little bite-sized pieces. I have added spinach over the years because it makes it even healthier and gives it an even better green flavor. Of course, for any creamy soup, you need some sort of creamy, base. So I like half and half, sometimes a little milk or a little broth also. But just to keep things simple, we're going to use half and half this time. And Parmesan. That always works well with greens of any kind. And you could use the simple shaker that's already ground up for you, or you could shred it yourself. Totally up to you. Asiago would work. Pretty much anything, really, even goat cheese. But those are the basic ingredients, and then there's a lot of play in those ingredients. So, as I said, I'm going to snap these, cut these in smaller pieces. The whole point of this is that if you received a Nutri-bullet for Christmas or any kind of blender, you don't just have to make smoothies in it. You can also make any kind of creamy soup. And the only thing that's important with that is waiting until the boiled, cooked ingredients are cold before you put them into your blender or your Nutri-bullet. So let me get busy with these and I'll be right back. All right, I have snapped all of my green beans. I washed them, rinsed them in the colander, snapped all the ends off. Now I'm going to boil these on just kind of a simmer, and I'll add a lot of salt to the water, and I will make sure I have enough water in there to cover the beans and then some, but not too much more. Here I go. All right, I have these in some water, enough to cover them, and then some, just a little. I have salted the water, quite liberally actually, and I'm just going to cook them until they're pretty soft. You don't want them to completely fall apart, and you do still want them to have a little bit of that nice fresh green color, but you do want them soft enough that when you attempt to break them all down, they will happen quickly and easily. You'll notice I don't have the spinach in here yet. It will take a lot less time. I'll probably dump it in the last minute or two. And yeah, that's all it needs. So, all right, now I'm going to go shred my cheese and let the heat do its work. All right, while my green beans are cooking, I took some kitchen shears and I cut up my spinach into smaller pieces. You'll notice I left the stems on. There's no reason not to use them. They're going to be pulverized, and that's kind of the whole point of the Nutri-bullet, is that you can eat a lot more of fruits and vegetables than maybe you've been led to believe. I used about a half wedge of that Parmesan cheese. You can use more or less, but you do want the nice fresh green flavor to shine through, so you don't want to over cheese it or over salt it. So let's check in on those green beans and see how they're coming along. Okay, we're back, and I have been boiling my green beans for 12 to 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use any kind of scooper or any kind of ladle, and I'm going to scoop some of my green beans and spinach into my largest Nutri-bullet cup. If you have a blender, of course, you can just put the whole thing into a blender. I'll see how much I can fit in here, but I'm going to leave a lot of that liquid in there, because if you've used this, you know that there's actually a fill line, and you must have some liquid or it doesn't work properly. So I will fill this to the safe point. I will leave some of the water in, but leave some out as well. And I'll just put this through my Nutri-bullet. We'll switch gears in a moment here, but yeah, you might have to do it in batches if you have a large amount, but it'll be worth it. I'm ready to Nutri-bullet. You will notice that as soon as I turned off the heat under the green beans, I added the spinach that I snipped into nice little pieces. So this is a nice mix of cooled off green beans and spinach. And now I'm going to get this thing going It is loud. Sometimes mine is a little stubborn, so hopefully I don't have to get rough with it. And there you have it. Kind of like a warm smoothie. I guess January is warm smoothie month. You can just rename it. But I'm going to do this with the rest of my soup. And then I'm going to return it to the original pot where I boiled it. And that's where I'll add the half and half. And that's where I'll add the Parmesan cheese as well. And some salt and pepper. Okay, we're in the final steps now. So close. I'm just using the same saucepan here. And I put my green ingredients after they had been blended in the Nutri-bullet. They're in here rewarming just slightly. And now I will take my shredded parm and start to melt that in there. And I'm going to start with half a cup of half and half. I might add a little more. We'll just play it by ear. And of course you're stirring to incorporate this all into one creamy wonderfulness. And it won't take long because you're reheating the soup. It's nice and hot. Everything will blend right in there, but do keep stirring so you don't end up with any scalding. Okay, I think we're just about there. Right. I need to do some taste testing and finessing to make this exactly the way I want it. I'll be right back. All right, our creamy green bean soup is complete. And like I said, we did add the spinach, put in the nice Parmesan cheese, got it melted in there, added some half and half. This is such a flexible recipe. I've made it with just kale. I've made it with kale and spinach. We first made it with just green beans. Very flexible. If you like it thicker, then cook your mixture a little bit longer and let some of that moisture evaporate before you add the half and half. Or use half and half in your blender or your Nutri-bullet instead of the water. I'm trying to cut back on carbs after the holidays, so this is a good way to do it. And it's good, it smells good, it tastes really fresh and wonderful. I'm trying to show you. Yeah, and it's just a lovely green soup, and it is tasty, and it is good for you. And you can put some little crackers in, or you can put some croutons, or toast a piece of bread with some cheese on top and let that float on top as if it were French onion soup. But really nice, warming, great for the kind of weather we've been having, and healthy for a change. If your Christmas and Hanukkah and all the holiday eating was a little bit rich and a little bit too extravagant. So I hope you will give the creamy green bean soup recipe a try. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you are well and warm. This is Melissa for Scott Township Public Library. If you like the video or like our YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just click subscribe down below. And if you had any comments or you want to try the recipe, I will have the recipe right in the description, but it's really a non-recipe. And lastly, if you feel moved to donate to Scott Library, you can always go to scottlibrary.org and find the donate button there at our homepage. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.